Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the graduation parade of the 141st graduating class of the Corps of Staff Cadets. On behalf of the Commandant of the Royal Military College of Australia, Brigadier Jason Grote, it is my honour to acknowledge the Ngunnawal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I pay my respects to the elders of the Ngunnawal Nation, both past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples in attendance today. For today's parade, the College is privileged to have as our reviewing officer His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. We welcome to the Royal Military College this morning the following principal guests. Her Excellency Mrs. Mar-Helen Baba de la Vega, Ambassador Philippines. Her Excellency the Honourable Dame Annette King, High Commissioner of New Zealand. His Excellency Mr. John Carley, High Commissioner of Papua New Guinea. His Excellency Mr. Samson Vilvilfare, High Commissioner of the Republic of Vanuatu. His Excellency Mr. Ratana Chan, High Commissioner of Cambodia. Her Excellency Busadi Santipataks, Ambassador, Thailand. His Excellency Mr. Zahid Chowdhury, High Commissioner, Pakistan. His Excellency Mr. David Kolatani, High Commissioner, Fiji. Commodore Ashley Papp, CSC RAN, representing the Chief of Navy. Air Commodore David Patterson, CSC, Commander Combat Support Group, representing the Chief of Air Force. Today's graduation ceremonies are the culmination of an intense period of military education, training and development. The graduating class, totalling 183 cadets, includes 2 cadets from Cambodia, 3 cadets from Fiji, 2 cadets from New Zealand, 4 cadets from Papua New Guinea, 3 cadets from Pakistan, 1 cadet each from Philippines, Thailand and Vanuatu, and 166 Australian cadets, including 6 cadets from the Royal Australian Air Force. Australian Army graduates will join an army in motion, which is constantly adapting to a changing world. As staff cadets complete their individual and team training here at the college, they will graduate to a wider army, where teaming for optimal performance is the norm. This is underpinned by good soldiering and by living the defence values of service, courage, respect, integrity and excellence. Training here at Duntroon has afforded graduates from other countries and services the opportunity to share in the partnership element of the Army in Motion concept. To commence the ceremony, the Regimental Sergeant Major, Warrant Officer Class 1, Carl Hemberg, will take up his position in the centre of the parade ground. The band of the Royal Military College, under the direction of Major Matthew O'Keefe, will then march on and take up its position at the rear of the parade ground. Once the band is in position, the Corps of Staff Cadets will march onto the parade ground from the Keyway and prepare to formally receive the colours, the Army banner and the principal guests. The parade commander today is Senior Under Officer Mahala Karan. The Corps will be formed up by companies with the Sovereign's Company, Kokoda, Gallipoli, Kapyong, Long Tan and Alamein on the right of the line, companies in succession to the left. The Australian Army banner and the colours of the Corps of Staff Cadets will then be received on parade. It is customary for all spectators to stand as the colours are marched onto the parade ground, and those members in uniform are to salute on the playing of Point of War. Each of our principal guests will be announced as they approach the saluting point, which is the dais, at the base of the stairs in front of the flag station. After being received on parade, His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, will be invited by the parade commander to inspect the Corps of Staff Cadets and the band of the Royal Military College. Upon completion of the inspection, the parade will advance in review order and accord the reviewing officer a royal salute. After the salute, the Governor-General will be invited to present the Sword of Honour and the Queen's Medal before addressing the parade. Following the address, there will be a formal handover of the custody of the colours to the incoming colour party. The graduands will then separate from the Corps of Staff Cadets and march from the parade ground for the final time. Once clear of the parade ground, the Sovereign's banner will be handed over to the second class Sovereign's Company Banner Ensign. The Sovereign's banner was presented to the Royal Military College Duntroon by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in 1954. She approved that henceforth the title the Sovereign's Company should be bestowed on the Champion Company of Cadets each year. Her Majesty subsequently gave permission for her banner to be carried by the Sovereign's Company on ceremonial occasions. Once the banner has been handed over, the graduands will march to the rear of the parade ground and fall out for the final time, prior to the traditional throwing of the caps into the air, signifying the conclusion of the final parade for the graduating class as members of the Corps of Staff Cadets. The Governor-General and the principal guests will then be formally farewelled from the parade. The Army banner and the colours will then be marched off. Following the parade, the ceremony of the presentation of commissions and graduation certificates will be held in the Adams Auditorium at ADFA, commencing at 12:30. A shuttle bus to Adams Auditorium will commence at 11:45. During today's parade, if at any time medical assistance is required, please see a member in uniform who'll be able to direct you to the medical staff on duty today. Parade Commander will now post the company under officers and the Australian Army banner. The Queen's and regimental colours will pre-position prior to march on. Please do not stand or acknowledge the colours as they pre-position.
CSMs, take post.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Army banner and the colours of the Corps of Staff Cadets will now be received. Please stand for the march on of the Army banner and the colours. Do not salute at any stage during this procedure, regardless of whether or not the Army banner or the colours pass immediately to your front. Members in uniform should only salute when the banner and colours are in position. The senior colour ensign gives the order to present arms, and the band plays the salute point of war.
March on the Army banner and Corps of Staff Cadet colours.
PSM!
Corps present arms.
Parties, quit! Parties! Go! Escorts to the colours! Aye! House! Escorts, present! Arms!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. The parade will now receive the Commanding Officer of the Royal Military College Duntroon, Lieutenant Colonel Tracy Ellison, CSC.
General Salute presents arms.
The parade will now receive the Commandant of the Royal Military College of Australia, Brigadier Jason Grote, CSC DSM.
General Salute presents arms.
The parade will now receive the Chief of Army, Lieutenant General Simon Stewart, AO, DSC.
General Salute presents arms.
The parade will now receive the Minister for Veterans Affairs and Defence Personnel, the Honourable Matthew Keogh, MP.
General Salute presents arms.
The parade will now receive the Reviewing Officer, His Excellency General the Honourable David Hurley, ACDSC, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. Please stand. Members in uniform are to salute during the playing of the Royal Salute. Parade Commander, Senior Under Officer Curran, will now invite the reviewing officer to inspect the parade and the band. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Good morning, Your Excellency. Corps of Staff Cadets, Royal Military College, Duntroon, ready for your inspection.
It has been a long-held custom that the bass drummer in army bands wears an animal skin over his uniform. This custom is observed in service bands throughout the world. The Royal Military College bass drummer wears a red kangaroo cloak, which was created under the guidance of the Regional Indigenous Liaison Network. The cloak features traditional pyrographic artwork and depicts the role of Australian Army bands in connecting communities and commemorating the service of Australian men and women.
Corps stands at ease.
Corps of Staff Cadets will now march past in slow and quick time, then advance in review order before according the reviewing officer a royal salute. Ladies and gentlemen, during the march past, when the colours or the Sovereign's banner pass immediately to your front, you are requested to stand and if in uniform, salute. You may be seated once they have passed.
Corps 18! Corps close order! March! Corps will now march past in close column of companies. Corps will retire a Belgian.
Corps of Staff Cadets will now advance in review order before according the reviewing officer a royal salute. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
Corps will advance a review order by the centre. Great! Corps Royal Salute presents arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The reviewing officer will now present the Sword of Honour and the Queen's Medal. The Sword of Honour is awarded for exemplary conduct and performance of duty. The Sword of Honour for the graduating class of December 2022 is presented to Senior Under Officer Mahala Karan. Battalion Sergeant Major, Senior Under Officer Curran, was appointed in the Australian Army on the 29th of January 2019 and commenced her training and degree at the Australian Defence Force Academy. She completed her Bachelor of Arts degree in December 2021 and commenced training at the Royal Military College Duntroon in February 2020. She has been allocated to the Australian Army Intelligence Corps. The Queen's Medal is presented to the cadet graduating first placed in the graduating class. The Queen's Medal for the graduating class for December 2022 is presented to Under Officer Adelaide McLean. Company Sergeant Major Long Tan Company Under Officer McLean was appointed in the Australian Army on the 29th of January 2019 and commenced her training and degree at the Australian Defence Force Academy. She completed her Bachelor of Science degree in December 2021 and commenced training at the Royal Military College Duntroon in February 2022. She has been allocated to the Australian Army Intelligence Corps. This is the final time that the Queen's Medal will be presented. The Governor-General will now address the parade.
Good morning and welcome to another fine occasion, ceremony at the Royal Military College. Linda and I are delighted to be part of this occasion again. Could I begin by acknowledging that Duntroon sits on the land of the Ngunnawal people. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, thank them for looking after this beautiful part of our country for generation after generation. Could I acknowledge members of the Diplomatic Corps, Defence Attachés and Advisors, and our international representatives, the Honourable Mark Keogh, the Minister for Defence Personnel and Veterans Affairs, Lieutenant General Simon Stewart, Chief of Army, and senior members of the Australian Defence Force, Brigadier Jason Grote, Commandant of the Royal Military College Australia, and staff of the Royal Military College. Could I particularly acknowledge today Mrs. Marlena Jeffrey. Marlena's grandson, Max, is graduating today. He's the son of John, another graduate who was a platoon commander of mine in Somalia, and he's the grandson of General Michael Jeffrey, a former Governor General. Marlena, great to have you here today to celebrate the continuation of service from your family to our country. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. As I say, a great privilege for Linda and me to be part of this graduation parade. It's a special occasion for not only the next generation of young leaders in the Australian Army and the Australian Defence Force, and also for our overseas colleagues, but also for their families and friends, RMC Duntroon staff and the Defence Force. Congratulations to all the cadets on parade upon achieving your graduation today, and for an impressive performance on parade. I think another round of congratulations is due. You have worked, trained and studied hard to reach this point. You have gained the confidence of the Chief of Army in your ability and potential to be successful commanders in our Army. The same sentiment applies to the 6th Air Force and the 16 international graduates. Congratulations, both in recognition of your achievements to date and in anticipation of the contribution you will make to your respective nations. I speak often at ceremonies like these about the importance of returning the investment made in you by the ADF and your families. To have reached this stage in your career, you have already demonstrated potential. Following this parade, you'll be presented with your commissions and graduation certificates. You'll soon be commissioned officers. It is a significant responsibility. That responsibility was described by a friend of mine, General Jim Mattis, a retired Marine, in this way. They, the people you lead, expect you to have done your homework, to have mastered your profession. Why? Because they will place their lives in your hands. This is a tremendous, weighty responsibility, but I'm confident that your education and training here at Duntroon will have prepared you well. It's also a great privilege serving your nation, protecting and advancing national interests, and carrying forward the proud legacy of your forebears. From experience, I can tell you that there are no shortcuts to being a successful, good leader. Do your homework, be prepared, listen intently, and work hard. The rewards for you and those you lead and the Australian Army will come. In closing, could I say thank you to the families and friends of the graduates. Your support has been critical in enabling these fine young men and women to reach this point in their lives. You are as much as part of the success we are celebrating today as your loved ones. And also to the staff at the college. Thank you for your input into the cadets' education and training, and also for the support you have provided them. You can take immense pride in the next generation of officers you have helped produce. Finally, a word to the graduates. This day has been long awaited by you, your families, the Australian Army, or your parent, service or nation. It's now come. Enjoy the moment. You deserve your success, but remember the responsibility you now take on. Congratulations and good soldiering to all of you for the future. Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class will now separate from the Corps of Staff Cadets in preparation for their final march off from the RMC parade ground.
Corps! Corps, attention!
Flag, attention!
Graduating class will form mass! Graduating class, fall out!
At this point in the parade, the handover of command and custody of the colours to the incoming senior cadet appointments will occur.
Escorts out and escorts please and arms. Escorts in ads and escorts 8A and we, the graduating class of December 2022, pass the colours of the Royal Military College to you. The colours embody the spirit and tradition of the Corps and are a reminder to us all of the duty and loyalty to our country. They are a symbol of loyalty to our country. They are a symbol of loyalty to all the members of the Corps. Carry them with pride. Uphold the traditions established by those before us. Doctrina, Bim, Primavera. Outgoing colour party, move to your right. Alright! And
CSMs, take post!
The Battalion Sergeant Major Designate is Staff Cadet Claudia Camilos.
CSM,
The graduands will now march from the parade ground for the final time. Once clear of the parade ground, the Sovereign's banner will be handed over to the second class Sovereign's Company banner ensign. The graduands will then march to the rear of the parade before being fallen out for the final time. When the Sovereign's banner passes directly to your front, please stand. Members in uniform are to salute. You may be seated once the banner has passed. And please don't follow the graduands as they march from the parade ground. There is a safety cordon in place near the entrance to the parade ground and the officers' mess, and this restricts the entry of any unauthorised personnel.
graduating class will march past for the last time. Corps General Salute, present! Up! Graduating class, file right, slay!
Ladies and gentlemen, the reviewing officer for today's parade, the Governor-General, will now depart. Would you please stand? Members in uniform are reminded to salute during the playing of the Royal Salute. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honourable Matt Keogh, MP, Minister for Veterans Affairs and Defence Personnel, will now depart the parade.
General salute! Present!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief of the Army will now depart the parade.
General salute! Present!
The Commandant of the Royal Military College of Australia will now depart.
General salute! Present!
The Commanding Officer of the Royal Military College Duntroon will now be farewelled from the parade for the final time as she concludes her tenure as the Commanding Officer.
General salute! Present!
Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Army banner and the colours of the Corps of Staff Cadets will now be farewelled. Please stand for the march off of the Army banner and the colours. Do not salute at any stage during this procedure, regardless of whether or not the Army banner or the colours pass immediately to your front. Members in uniform should only salute when the banner and colours are in position. The Senior Colour Ensign gives the order to present arms and the band plays the salute point of war.
March off the Army banner and the Corps of Staff Cadet colours!
PSM!
Corps! Present! Up!
Escort escorts, aids, and escorts, take post. Arties, quick!
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated.
Citizens, fall!
The remainder of the parade and the band of the Royal Military College will now march off. You are requested to please remain seated until all troops have departed the parade ground. That concludes this morning's graduation parade, and guests are invited to morning tea in the gardens of Duntroon House. The graduands will join you there. The commissioning ceremony will be held in the Adams Auditorium.